Hi everyone, welcome back to Mike's Minutes. My name is Mike Dunn, a wealth advisor with IPC Securities. I hope you had a great rest of your summer and looking forward to the fall and Christmas. Sorry, I had to say it, but Christmas is not that far away. I mean, it always creeps up quicker than we always anticipate. But we have Halloween coming up, the next kind of celebration, I guess. For those who know me, I'm a big fan of Halloween. Not so the dressing up thing, but just the whole atmosphere, and Halloween's always a fun time. So do I do a video dressed up? I don't know about that. We'll see. It's not really my thing, but anything's possible, I guess. So thanks again for tuning in. Today in my video, I wanted to address some common questions or comments that I hear. I get asked, or I hear people making comments about investing or within my world. So I'm going to address those, and this is a good kickoff to the fall. There's a lot of good information to come out over the next few months. This is time when people start paying attention a little bit more to their investments, the markets, obviously the media, they are on top of things, but just be careful what you read in the media, because they're always trying to sell something, as I've said. And if you have questions about what's relevant to you, your portfolio and things like that, you should reach out to your advisor. If you're not working with an advisor and you want some education or guidance, that's what I'm here for. So please reach out. So before I get into it, I just want to mention that the information that is presented is strictly for educational purposes and not advice. Got to keep compliance happy, as I always say. So let's get into it. The first question that I get all the time, I mean, I wouldn't say daily, but I get it a lot. Which stock should I buy? So let's back up a sec. Let's take real estate. Let's take real estate as an example. So a lot more people are more familiar with real estate. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you probably own it. So would you ever just go to a real estate agent and say, which house should I buy? They might take you to a house and then you're like, oh, I really like this. How much is it? It's 10 million bucks. Well, my budget's $1 million. Well, it's important to know certain things, and it's no different than investing. If a client asks me which stock should I buy, I mean, my first question is, why do you just want to buy one stock? I'm not in the business of picking stocks for clients. I mean, there are a lot of good ones out there, but my day-to-day does not involve analyzing balance sheets of companies, calling management and finding out what their short, medium, long-term plans are as a single company. So I always ask a client, why are you asking me that? What are you looking to do? And, I get this all the time, and I mentioned it in another video. A lot of people just say, well, I want to make money. Well, we all do, but you have to do it the right way. And any advisor that is advising clients on building wealth over time should ask a lot more questions than just, why do you want to buy a stock? That's the first question that I ask, but there's so many more pieces of information that somebody needs to know. And if a client came to me and just said, I need an advisor just so I can buy one stock, it's not really the situation that I want to get into. Buying one individual stock is very risky, and everything that I do is risk and time. Risk and time are two of the most important things to know when you're investing. If you just want to buy a stock because you think it's going to go up in a week or so, I mean, you're kind of rolling the dice. If you look at the big companies, let's say in Canada, banks, insurance companies, you're not going to make 10, 15, 20% short term. They're good long-term investments to hold, but just holding one of them is very risky as well. So to answer the question, it depends. And if you want to buy one individual stock, that's not really what I do as an advisor. I wouldn't consider myself a stockbroker. I do buy and sell some stocks for clients, but they have to make sense in the overall plan. So this isn't really a question, it's more of a comment. I hear this all the time. So the second thing I want to run through is, I don't like mutual funds. I hear that all the time. And in my humble opinion, I think that's just because there's lack of education. The media is kind of brainwashing us in terms of, oh, if you are buying funds like that or something, it's it's a waste of money, you're getting ripped off. Well, that's BS in my opinion. And it's just, there's no education. A mutual fund is a basket of stocks, a basket of bonds, or a basket of both. And recently you can buy a mutual fund that is a basket of ETFs, and that brings the cost down. There are a lot of really good mutual funds that outperform the market. I mean, there's obviously some that don't. But before we jump to conclusions that I don't like mutual funds, you really need to understand why they might make sense in a portfolio, why advisors use them. A lot of advisors do use them because you have professional management. Going back to the question, which stock should I buy? If you asked a portfolio manager, somebody that manages a mutual fund, that would be easier probably for them to answer, because they're analyzing balance sheets and company financials, and they're talking to management. They're doing a lot of due diligence on each individual security that they buy in the mutual fund. I'm sure they would say buy their fund, but that's what they do. They analyze businesses. As an advisor, I analyze situations, and those situations are the situations my clients are in. And then we cater to that situation, what type of investment makes the most sense. So before you think, oh, mutual funds aren't for me, or I don't like mutual funds, educate yourself, talk to an advisor. Don't just ask your friend who thinks they know everything about investing, because mutual funds are definitely a good piece of the pie if investing is something that you're interested in. And one thing I'll mention lastly, I did a video on this too, but mutual funds are great for smaller accounts. You get diversification, so you're not taking on too much risk if you're just buying one or two individual companies. So if you need to learn more on mutual funds, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to educate you. So the third one that I hear quite a bit is RRSPs are dumb. Why should I invest in an RRSP, or why should I open an RRSP? So again, just like the mutual fund situation, there's lack of education. So my simple rebuttal to that is, would you rather pay the government more tax or less? It's kind of, it's me being a little bit cheeky, I guess you could say, but it's true. RRSPs definitely make a lot of sense for somebody who's looking to lower their taxable income. Again, like everything in this industry, it's not one size fits all, or one answer fits every question or situation. But you really have to understand your tax situation, and then that will help dictate whether or not an RRSP makes sense for you. So before you jump to conclusions, make sure you're educated and make sure you know your situation, so you can make the best decision based on that information. So let's skip forward. This is more to my generation. So I'm like the top of the millennials, I guess, or the very early millennials. I'll start saving after I pay off my mortgage. I hear this a lot. I do hear, housing is like, no matter where you turn, housing is in the news. It's the topic of a dinner party, socially distanced dinner party, obviously. But housing is just taken over in terms of, like, especially the younger generations, where that's all I need to do. I just need to buy a house. All my money's going to the house, and that's it. I get it, but I also don't get the fact that they don't want to, a lot of people don't save outside of buying a house. Or they buy a house and then they buy a rental property and then another rental property. Again, not all your eggs in one basket. But the longer you wait, investing, going way back to math class, the power of compounding, right? Like, if you wait too long, it's going to take you way more money to make up for that time lost. And when I say that, I mean, if you start investing when you're young and you use the power of compounding, like, you make $1 and then you make $1 on that dollar plus the dollar that you had to start with, right? So you make money on your money and it compounds over time. And time is the one thing that really helps build wealth over time. There you go. So when I hear that, I don't quite understand the rationale, because if you wait to save, you're going to have to start saving way more or have an incredible rate of return every year to kind of match somebody that maybe started 10 years ago. So everything in somebody's financial life, it's all about balance. I mean, if you do a cash flow statement, which is money coming in versus money going out, and you have literally nothing left over after your expenses, i.e. mortgage and life and stuff, then you might want to question where your money's going. Because if you don't have enough to save, then how are you going to retire? Or how are you going to pay for that roof if you have to fix a roof? Or it's all about balance, and sometimes I can be very extreme. I'm almost too balanced with everything in my life, but I just want to get the younger generations to start thinking there's more to building wealth than just investing it in your house. Yes, it's a tax-free capital gain if you sell it down the road. I mean, depending on what happens with the government, I mean, things change. And the one thing that doesn't change is we're all getting older and you can't go back in time. So my recommendation in that situation is to, start maybe a monthly savings coming right out of your bank, right? So you don't even have time to touch it. And, do a cash flow, do a budget. I was talking to one of my friends about a week ago, and he was talking about his family budget. I mean, to a financial advisor and to somebody who loves this stuff, I couldn't have heard anything better than what he said. So I really recommend that you look at what's coming in versus what's going out and find a way to save. Because if you're not saving, then you're going to be forced to work when probably you don't want to. So I deal with clients of all ages, and when I see some of the older clients that are in their 70s or even 80s that are working, I can take that knowledge and apply it to some of the younger generations, because we have the time to avoid situations like that. So those are just a few questions that and comments that I hear quite often. I can address more in other videos, and if I start seeing the same ones come up, I'll address them. And I think maybe every handful of videos or so, maybe I'll check back and do one of these and just kind of give you a sense of what I'm hearing and some of my feedback on those things. So I hope you learned something today. I mean, these are strictly for education. I love what I do. I love educating on personal finance. So if there is a topic that you want to learn more about, or you're interested in me doing a video on, please let me know. I mean, there's endless amounts of content, and it's all about my audience. So whoever is interested in a certain topic, I'd be more than happy to dig deeper. So I want to thank you, as always, for listening to my little spiel today. And I hope everybody has a good week. And as I always say, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay invested. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.